Okay. Sanjay ji, please.
Hari Om. Yogeshwara Krishna has explained to Partha the reason why he should fight, how his melancholy that he has got, the depression, the vishad that he has got is not right. And while explaining the fundamental aspect behind the truth, very subtly, the discussion has now landed into the hardest philosophical part. For all of us, it's been a couple of years that we have been listening to the statement that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma, I am Brahma. This has been reiterated n number of times by most of the commentators, Gurudeva's commentary. And every day we also listen to that and we say, Aham Brahmasmi. But not even an iota of thought comes to our mind that, am I really Brahman? I am internally 120% convinced that I am not Brahman. In fact, Brahman appears to be some esoteric concept, some abstract thing, perhaps an intellectual phantom. That is our inner thing. Outwardly, we may say that Aham Brahmasmi, it is Mahavakyam, etc., etc. Then simultaneously, in the same breath, we say that, whatever is happening because of God. He does everything. If he wants, it will happen. If he doesn't want, it will not happen. If something good happens, we say, it is blessing from God. If something wrong happens, we say, Ishwar Ichha, it is happened because of God. Not only that, even some of these statements in Bhagavad Gita, Mai Adhyakshena Suyate Chara Charam. Arjuna, because of me, Chara and Achara, both are presided by me. Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. Arjuna, I have put this particular machine into the motion. And even people like Sant Kabir and all, they say that Sai se sab hota hai, bande se kachu nahi. That means the Lord is doing everything. And all this has been brought to a complete standstill by this shlok 14, which says, Arjuna, na kartrutvam, na karmani, lokasya kartrutvam evam karmani, mi na srujyati, Prabhu na srujyati. But hey Prabhu, ye to aapka आशीर्वाद hai. Hey Prabhu, it is happening because of you. And now Prabhu himself is saying that, no, I have no connection with what is happening. The problem now is to whom to give the ownership. Ownership of karma, ownership of karma phala, ownership of jagat, ownership of creation of the world, ownership of ending of the world. Who is the owner? In Shastriya Paribhasha, who is the upadana and naimittik karan for the jagata? Because Prabhu has said, he has already raised his hands, I am not. If you are not, then who has done this? No, but it is said that the jagat is kalpita. If it is kalpita also requires ashraya. So who is the ashraya? Yogeshwar Sri Krishna says, I have nothing to do with it. I know that somebody has to do with it, otherwise it will not happen. How the parinama can be there unless there is karana? According to parinama vada or sakhyati, there has to be a cause. And so far I have been presuming Bhagavan Sri Krishna has to be the cause, and right here in the 14th shloka he is raising the hands and walking away. And he's not only walking away saying that I am not involved into it, he's also telling that who is involved? Swabhavastu. Pravartate swabhavastu. Now the question is Swabhava, because Swadharma and Swabhava we studied earlier in the second and the third adhyaya. Swabhava, then we say my nature. But my nature, is that the nature that he is pointing out at? And Gurudeva has explained this Swabhava as Maya, because the nature of everyone, everybody, whether living or non-living, is decided by Trigunas. Trigunas are nothing else but the constituents of the Prakriti or Maya. So in other words, individual nature or nature of all or nature of natures, everything together is again Maya or Prakriti. So if it is Maya or Prakriti that is going to decide about karma, karma phala, then what is the role of the Lord? One. Second is, who produced this Maya? Is it not that it is the Lord, it is the Prabhu who gave the Maya, and now he is saying I am not connected with it? The children are born to the lady, all right, but now the husband cannot say that I have nothing to do with it, because the lady is existing in the marital relation with the Lord, with the husband, and the husband is saying I am not connected. If we say that they are not connected, then the question is that every day we are leaving it. So it is Sat. At the same time, the Lord says that it is not existing because I have nothing to do with it. That means it is Asat. That means Maya or the nature, Prakriti, is Sat as well as Asat. How can a thing be Sat as well as Asat? That is why the new coinage by Acharya is Sat Asat Vilakshana. So now how can we expect a thing to exist on somebody without having relationship? And the relationship is explained by Shankaracharya Maharaj as Vivartavad. To give an example, it is raining. At the same time, the sun came in the sky. Because of the rain droplets, we see rainbow. Now, is the rainbow existing or not? It is, because I see it. But where was this rainbow before? We don't know. Where will this rainbow go? We don't know. But right now it is existing or not? Yes. It is existing because of what? The water particle and the sunlight, right? But can we say that the water particle and sunlight are responsible for the rainbow? No, because the sun came because he wanted to come. The water droplets came from the rains because it was raining. Both of them did not connive together to create a rainbow, but it happened. This is called Vivartatavad. It is called independent dependency. This is contactless contact, relationshipless relationship. That means mere existence of something on the adhyakshata of another thing when the adhyaksha doesn't desire it to be that way. So the consciousness or the Chaitanya or the Brahman did not want the world to happen and run and do anything. It was just lying there. Sheshashai Nag, Vishnu Maharaj, Narayan Maharaj was just sleeping there. On its adhyakshata, on the adhyakshata of the Brahman, a thing came as if a juggler has created something. And that is what is called Maya. It is illusory and it deludes. That is why Arjuna, Prabhu Prakarshena Bhutva, the one who is responsible for Srujana, Srujati. Srujana means creation. I am not a creator because creation is not none of my business because I am a Kartrum. Why? I don't have desire. A person, a thing without a desire cannot produce anything. It is the concomitant appearance on the basis of me that the Maya appeared. It is apparent. It is not real. Why? Because if you reach me, it doesn't exist. As long as you are embedded in Maya, she is true. Moment you transcend it, she doesn't exist. And the same Maya is also called avidya or ajnana. So when you reach me, jnanam, ajnanam doesn't exist. Why? Where there is jnanam, there cannot be ajnanam. Where there is ajnanam, there cannot be jnanam. As Guru Deva says, this is amply emphasized in Kathopanishada. Chaya atapaha, that is the analogy given. Darkness and sunlight coexisting cannot happen. Jnanam, ajnanam coexisting cannot happen. That is why the Maya, which is nothing else but the avarana shakti, ajnana. Now comes the question, this Maya or the ajnanam with which I have become the jiva, and then I do all this karma because of my swabhava, my ajnana. If these are such two clear-cut compartments, then how will I reach Prabhu? I am immersed in ajnana or avidya. And whatever is ajnana or avidya or maya nirmita is all jada, insentient. It is all consciousnessless, because consciousness, chaitanya, is completely different and completely neutral. So there is a neutral thing on the aspect of which, Vivarta, there is a world which is completely non-neutral. Extremely ambulatory, locomotory, momentous thing, dependent on something which is completely non-momentous and without any kartrutvata. If this is so, then me as a human being or as a body, dehadhari, I am in ajnana. That is why I am talking, you are listening, this board, this mic, this books, everything is mic. Everything is made up of Maya. All right. The question is, if I have to transcend this, I am part of the Maya. So I am definitely Jada, a Chaitanya. He is Chaitanya. How an a Chaitanya can become Chaitanya? Taking the same logical corollary, it becomes further difficult when we look at this way, that Jiva is not Chaitanya. Then something which is not Chaitanya, how he reaches a stage where he realizes that he is a Chaitanya? That means Jnanam that happens to whom? It cannot happen to Chaitanya or Brahma because he is Jnanamaya. It cannot happen to mind because mind is a Jada, insentient. So who is the one who gets liberated? Who is the one who gets moksha? Who is the one who gets Jnanam? And to explain that, this shloka becomes extremely vital, and that is why it becomes extremely difficult also. A lot of things will go tangentially. Unless we hold the hand or finger of Gurudeva, we will never reach this place. What is Gurudeva saying? It is saying nothing else but what is called as Bimba Pratibimba Vada. What is Bimba Pratibimba Vada? The Viveka Chudamani 117 verse that is referred here, it says, Yatra Atma Bimbaha Pratibimbit San Prakasha Yatyarka Iva Akhila Jadam. The whole Jada means the Jagata, means the universe, which is a Jada, is enlightened by the consciousness. Agreed. So does that mean consciousness is very eager to enlighten? No. Then how does it get enlightened? The sun is shining always. I went into the sun, so I got enlightened. I went into the sun. Sun did not invite me. If you don't go, he will continue to shine. If you go, it will also continue to shine. Similarly, the Bimba, the Chaitanya, is utilizing intellect, antakarana, as the substance to reflect the light. In this entire body, if there is any part, tangible or intangible, which has an ability to take the sunlight into it and pass it on, it is intellect, buddhi or antakarana nishchaya vritti. The most subtlest penetrating aspect and the most pristine clear aspect of the body is antakarana, and that too buddhi. In this buddhi, that bimba reflects, so buddhi becomes pratibimba. So bimba, pratibimba, consciousness getting reflected. But mind well, consciousness is not keen or desirous of reflecting. The intellect comes in the way of sunlight, so naturally it gets the light. And then what happens? Because the glass, the prism has received the light, it will spread the light. That spread of light is what our knowledge is all about. Because of this light, we are able to see things in front of us. We do not see the sun behind our head. So the intellect does not see the bimba or the chaitanya. Now, is this intellect, does it have its own light? No, it is a reflected light coming from the chaitanya. So it is called abhasa. So it is called chaitanya is original, bimba, and the mind or the intellect, what it reflects is called chid abhasa, chidabhas. It is this chidabhasa which is responsible for all our perception of universe. Take the light source out, we will not understand anything. There is nothing that is left in us. Why? The light is gone. So it is the light. Now the question is how the intellect uses the light is entirely dependent on the intellect. It has nothing to do with the source of the light. Depending upon how we use the light, we land into different aspects of karma. So karma is happening by jiva or the chidabhasa. And that chidabhasa is supposed to understand the origin of the light. When you don't understand the origin of light, it is called ajnana. So chidabhasa has 7 stages. They are called abhasa avastha. I know it is all very heavy philosophy, but that is somehow it has come to that point now. This chidabhasa, which is responsible for doing the karma, and for that karma there is a phalam. And who decides this? That the karma should be having phalam, and then this karma, bad karma will have bad phalam. It is done by the niyanta, which is Ishvara. But Ishvara is Prabhu? No. Chaitanya has nothing to do with Ishvara. Ishvara is Chaitanya's reflection in the entire universe is called Ishvara. The buddhi that I have reflects and I become Jiva. Similarly, for the whole world, the one where the Chaitanya is reflected in Maya is called Ishvara. Maya dhishtita Chaitanyam iti Ishvaraha. So that Ishvara, which is Sarvajna, so he is the Lord and Master for the creation. Even the creation doesn't exist, Lord also doesn't exist. Then who exists? Chaitanyam exists. Because Ishvara is Isha. Isha is controller, lording over. If there is nothing to lord over, where will be the Ishwar? Ishwar is gone. So the karma is created by the individual jiva, which is possible because of Chidabhas. Chidabhas is nothing but the reflected light, the light originally coming from the Bimba, which is called Chaitanyam. And that is why from the role of the Chaitanya, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling Partha, Prabhu, Prabhu means Chaitanya here, not the Ishvara. Prabhu na srujyate, Ishwaram srujyate. Prabhu Chaitanya na srujyate. Swabhavastu pravartate. Swabhava means the Maya propels it. The whole game plan is of Maya, which constitutes the highest Ishvara and individual pluralistic jivas. Multitude, billions of jivas, one controller as Ishvara, all together is called Maya. And this Maya is possible, it is possible for Maya to be there because of my adhyakshata, although I have not created the Maya. Why? I cannot create anything, I do not create anything. I am nishkriya, nischanchala, nischala. So the shloka is focusing on relationship between Chaitanya, Ishvara, Jagata and Jiva. Unless this is clear in the mind, it was clarified by the glorious tradition starter Adi Shankaracharya, and all Advaita Acharyas, including our Gurudeva, has carried on the same philosophy. That is why the Supreme has no such function as marrying every action to the correct fruit. The Supreme, we're not talking of Ishvara, Supreme, Chaitanya. So, there must be some relationship between the self and the non-self. And here this strange contactless contact is being explained. Gurudeva could write the commentary easily because he was the experiencer of anubhuti of all these things. For us poor mortals, we are finding difficult what contactless contact he is referring to. He is referring to the Vivartatavad of Chaitanya Adhyastha Maya, Chaitanyam in Maya as Ishvara, Chaitanyam in every jiva as a Chidabhasa, and this Abhasa then tries to do sadhana, which we are doing right now as a part of that, and slowly from Abhasa he goes towards Jnanam, and from Abhasa to Jnanam he has to go through 7 avastha. Ajnana, avarana, vikshepa, paroksha jnana, aparoksha jnana, shoka nasha, ananda vyapti. 7 avasthas. We all are in the first avastha, enjoying. We are in ajnana. And what is the indication of first avastha, ajnana? I don't know what is Brahman. None of us has tasted, seen, experienced Brahman. That means we are in Ajnana. The first mistake is Ajnana. Ajnana, simple words means I am not Brahman. Iti drudhanishchayaha is Ajnana. So first is Ajnana. For example, a person, a drunkard, he drank alcohol, so he became drunkard. So this is called alcohol is Ajnana. Now, he started kicking people, vikshepa. Because of Ajnana, I am not Brahman. Then who I am? I am Mr. So-and-so. She is my wife. This is vikshepa. Springing from Ajnana and acting in the universe in different roles, capacities, dualities, pluralities, etc. is vikshepa. Then what happens? Because of some punya karma, we come to know about Gurudeva and we start reading. And Gurudeva tells us that, you are Brahman. And that's why we start saying, yes, maybe I am Brahman. First time we agree to the fact, not because we have experienced it, but because Gurudeva told it. This is called Shraddha and this is called Paroksha Jnana. Somebody who saw Brahman told me that I am Brahman, but still I have not experienced. This is third avastha of abhasa. Then if we are lucky enough and punyavan enough, we will start doing sadhana, do meditation, etc. And suddenly we experience anubhuti that I am Brahman. This is called aparoksha jnana. But mind well, still we are in abhasa. Why? You get the experience that I am Brahman. You have a very small, although still a feeling that I have got Brahmadhyana. Then what happens? Because you get Brahmadhyanam, this death, birth will not apply to me. You come to know instantly. That is called Shokanasha. And when Shoka goes away, what remains? Only Harsha, Anand. And that is not Sukham. Sukham is always a relative thing. Non-relative pleasure, non-relative bliss is Ananda. That is why there is no word for Ananda in English. And there is no opposite word of Ananda. Ananda is an avastha. The last avastha of abhasa, still in abhasa, is Ananda avastha, where he feels happy always in bliss. And then comes jnanam, because now abhasa is ending and jnanam is coming. At jnanam, what happens? No anandam, no shokanasha. Why? Nothing is there. Na iti, neti, neti. That is the only description. Because I am Anandi, that is also gone. I am Brahman, that because I am Brahman to say I has to be there, that is gone. Then what remains? Nothing remains. Nothing remains mean what? We cannot imagine. That is why neti, neti. That is chaitanyam, that is jnanam. And once you go there, then there is no kartrutvata. That is why Arjuna, nasrujati prabhuho kartrutvam karmani. All this is whenever you are in Maya, only that will happen. And that is why the enjoyer of the fruits and the performer of action in us is our ego. What is an ego? Ego is nothing else but ajnana promoted presence of plurality feeling in the mind. If you have understood this, Arjuna, then let me come to the second aspect of it. Na adatte kasyachit papam, na cha eva sukrutam vibhuhu. Look, I am a Chaitanya which is pervading everything. Because I pervade everything, I have ability to pervade everything. I am called Vibhu. Now, I came as a sun and my nature is to give light, so I gave light. Now, in that light, who is doing what is none of my concern. Tomorrow, all of you stop doing everything. In the night, you're all sleeping. I'm still shining. You can't see me. That's a different thing. In the morning when I come, you see me, you start doing your vyavahara. But don't blame me for your vyavahara. I'm not throwing the light because you should do the vyavahara. No, that is not my concept. My nature is to shine. My nature is a jnana swarupa. What utilization or what minimization, what compartmentalization of jnanam you do, that's your business. That is why from whatever you have done, you may get a good return or a bad return, the punyam or the papa, that's your business. And that's a set business. And the person who sets it is also called Ishvara. That is also away from me. Once this fictitious marketplace has been created, then there is somebody who is selling, somebody who is buying, somebody who is acting as a judge, somebody who is transacting. It's because the marketplace has been created. दुनिया में हूं, दुनिया का तलबगार नहीं हूं, बाजार से गुजरा हूं लेकिन खरीदार नहीं हूं. Chaitanya is like this. And then why all this is then happening? Why the world? Why the papam? Why the punyam? Arjuna, ajnanena avruttam jnanam. You just remove that avarana. Which avarana? Ajnana. What is this ajnana? Shuddha Brahmashrita Maya is ajnana or avidya. It is ashrita on me, that Maya. Why it is called as Maya? Because it is achintya Shakti. Achintya Shakti. However, by yukti you can destroy it. So it is called Maya. Why it is called avidya? Because Brahma Vidya can do the nash of it. So it is called avidya. Why it is called ajnana? Because Brahma Rupa Achadana Karti. So it is called Ajnana. Moment Brahma Jnana is there, this Achadana is gone, so Ajnana is gone. So Ajnana Rupa, Avidya Rupa Maya. If this is the issue, then what is the ashraya of this Ajnana? The ashraya of this Ajnana is Brahma. Ishwara is not the ashraya of Ajnana. Why? Because Ishwar is a part of the Ajnana. The son cannot be the mother of the mother. Not possible. Because Ishwara and Jiva both are inside the Maya. Maya itself is under the auspices of Vivartata of Chaitanyam. And because of this, not knowing my own nature, Jantavaha, those who are born, I am not talking, Arjuna, about unborn people. Deha dhare ka dand hai, sab kahu ko hoy. Dehadhari, moment you are embodied, moment you enter into this Maya or Prakriti, in other words, moment you become Trigunatmaka, you will have this delusion. How to come out of the delusion? Become devoid of three gunas. Nistraigunyo bhava Arjuna. That is the ultimate message. Arjuna, Nistraigunyo bhava. All right, Bhagavan, from tomorrow onwards, I want to become Nistraigunya. I will start praying you. Praying you itself is guna. Bhagavan, I will always meditate upon you. That is also guna. Then Bhagavan, how do I come out of this? Start inculcating higher gunas. Go from tamo to raja, raja to sattva. Then what will happen? Keep in the sattva guna. As sattva guna rises, the meditation will rise. And then what will happen? The meditation will be blown away. Sattva guna will also be blown away. Then what will happen? You will be left with no guna. Then nistraigunya. And moment you become that, Arjuna, you are in my lap. You are me. You are the Adhyaksha then. You are disqualified from this universe at that point of time. Right now, you are qualified for this universe because of the gunas that you have. Gunas are nothing else but Prakriti or Maya. Maya is a potentiality. Maya is not a substance. Maya is a potentiality, potential to create. And this potentiality is exhibited through these three gunas. And these three gunas are the one who are binding everyone. Moment the three gunas are there, birth is there. When birth is there, death is there. Anishchitata, Chutata is there. That is why, Arjuna, people call me Achyuta. So na adatya kasyachit papam, na cheva sukrutam vibhu. I don't do anything, Arjuna. Your papa, your punya, your presence, your body, your knowledge, your samadhi, nothing. I have got nothing to do with it. Yes, in this ocean, I have kept one secret tunnel. Through that you come, and then you can come out of the ocean. That is, yes, samsara sagara, you can come out of it. There is a tunnel there. But again, neither I have created the samsara nor I have created the tunnel. Sadhana I have not created, you have created. Why? Because papam I have not created. But then Bhagavan, what about the mukti? Mukti I have not created because bandha I have not created. What about Ajnana? Ajnana you have, I have not created. I don't know Brahman is also a Jnana. Right now we say, I don't know Atma, but that is, I don't know itself is also a Jnana. That means Ajnana Prakashan also he does. Jnana Prakashan also it. Prakashana is the only thing which is inherent in him. Jnana Prakasha is inherent in him. Whether you bask in it or you don't bask, that's your problem. Because of you being in Maya. That is the crux of the philosophy of Bimba Prapatibimbavad, which is reflected here, which Advaitis believe. Avachedvad, Abhasavad, these are again, Bhamatikar is slightly, Vachaspati Mishra is slightly different on this aspect, but those are minor details of that. The main crux of philosophy, because it is completely compacted in these two shlokas, and that is why it may sound difficult, but again, Shastra Krupa is essential for us. Without Shastra Krupa, the next movement will not happen. Hari Om.